You're not alone. If you need someone to talk to today, please contact Crisis Services Canada by either calling them at 1-833-456-4566 all hours of the day, or you can text them at 45645 at 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern Time. Remember, you're not alone, and Crisis Services Canada is here to help. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Coffee with Graeme on ASTV Productions. This edition of Coffee with Graeme is brought to you by Evolve Green, AETI, Toby Hockey, Case Financial Group, and Pilot Mound Hockey Academy. This episode is pre-recorded tonight. The reason for that being is I'm going to be at a birthday dinner tonight for my sister, Jessica Forsyth. I got to give a special shout out to her. Happy 18th birthday, Jess. Hopefully you enjoy being an adult and you don't have too much fun tonight, as my father usually says. But yeah, hope you enjoyed and get all the presents that you hope on getting for your big 18th birthday, turning into an adult, which is crazy how the time flies. This is this November 18th edition of Coffee with Graeme. And speaking of time flying, the month of November is just flying by. Sooner or later, we're going to be moving into the month of December, which is pretty crazy. And then after that, it won't be 2021 anymore. It will be 2022. Like I've said before on the show, just crazy how time flies. The older that I get, the time flies by faster and faster every year. But enough of me rambling about that. It's time to talk about the guests that will be coming on the show in tonight's edition of Coffee with Graeme. We're going to have 3 guests joining the show tonight. 3 female hockey players, and Seth Rach will also be joining the show. First up here on his weekly segment here on the Thursday editions of Coffee with Graeme, Seth's Inside Scoop. And unlike the last 2 Thursdays of Seth's Inside Scoop, where we talked about a lot of games, we only got 1 game here on the network, and that game is actually happening right now here on ASTV Productions. Some Zone 4 high school hockey action between 2 top teams in the league at this point in the season. The Morden Thunder at home hosting the Mountain Mustangs in this early season clash. Seth is going to come on a segment, Seth's Inside Scoop, to talk about the 2 teams in this game, the Morden Thunder and the Mountain Mustangs, talking about both teams' offense, their defense, their goaltending, as well as their special teams, and Seth's players to watch in those in that game for these 2 teams. So without further ado, let's run the intro of Coffee with Graeme and bring on the main man himself, Seth Rach, on this edition of his segment here on Coffee with Graeme, Seth's Inside Scoop here on ASTV Productions. Another Thursday, another edition of Seth's Inside Scoop here on Coffee with Graeme with Seth Rach. Seth, we got a lot less games to talk about, but a pretty exciting game to talk about nonetheless. I got to start off by how you doing on this Wednesday evening, since, of course, we are recording this segment on Wednesday evening.
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Had a little bit of a busy day helping getting ready to move my grandparents here into town in Morden. So a little bit busy, but it's nice to be talking hockey again.
Yeah, I assume that the move has been going pretty well so far.
Yeah, it's just I shouldn't really call it a move. It's more of like prerequisites before a move. We're just making sure the plumbing's good.
Right. Gotta nail out all those little details, right? And you know what? Those little details so important in the sport that we always talk about hockey here on Seth's Inside Scoop, and I feel like they're going to be pretty important in this game, Seth. Happening Thursday night at 8 p.m. here on ASTV between the Mountain Mustangs and the Morden Thunder. It's the first matchup of the year between these two teams. Morden is at home, and the Mountain Mustangs are on the road in this game, coming to Morden to play the Thunder. But let's start off with the Thunder, currently tied for third place with a 4-1-1 record. A team that's able to put up offensive numbers and a team that's able to defend really well. Let's talk about the offense first off with this team. What you've liked so far from what you've seen on paper from what this Thunder team can bring offensively.
Yeah, well, from on paper, like we're talking about here, they look pretty good. They got a bunch of players that are able to score at a point per game or over a point per game. So, if you got a lot of players that can do that, that'll certainly help your chances at winning games by putting up a lot of points. But yeah, they got a lot of guys in this team that can put pucks in the back of the net, whether it's forwards or defenders too. So yeah, it's looking like a pretty good offensive squad we got here.
Yeah, and a lot of players have put the puck in the net. In fact, 13 different players with at least a goal this season. How important you feel that this depth from this Morden team is going to be against this Mountain Mustangs team in this Thursday night game.
Oh, you can't win. You can't be successful in any sort of hockey league without depth, and this team certainly has it. They got, like you'd mentioned, they got 13 players that can have scored a goal at least this season. So that really helps. And in a tight game, often it's the depth players that come through. It's not always the big offensive flashy guys, but it's the guys that can. Do all the little things and put pucks and put that puck in the back of the net here and there. And I think with all the depth on this team, it's only going to help their chances this tomorrow, actually on Thursday.
Yeah, and talking about one guy in particular, leading goal scorer on the team, Koyan Fair. My apologies if I pronounced that first name wrong, but 8 goals, leads the team with 14 points. He's the team's leading goal scorer, of course. How excited are you to have a chance to get to cover and watch this guy in this Thursday game?
Oh yeah, it's very exciting watching a guy who can pot in a lot of goals, and McCoy Fair can certainly do so. And it's going to be very exciting to watch him score. And it's gonna be tough for the opposition to be able to stop this guy. He's definitely one of the front runners when it comes to offense and or at least putting pucks in the back of the net, whether he's scoring goals or getting assists. He can do it all when it comes to offensive play. So this is certainly a player that people are going to want to have to, don't want to spoil my picks right away, but he's definitely going to be one of the players on this team that you're definitely going to want to look out for in this game tomorrow.
Yeah, and you mentioned assists, Seth, and leads to this next player, Noah Clausen, leads the team in assists with 9 apples on the season. Just how do you think that this kid's gonna perform? Knowing that he can dish that puck out at a high level with 9 assists so far on the season.
It's these guys that get a lot of assists that can ultimately, in the end, be really, really important to your team. One of the most important players, because these guys are the guys that create the goals. Without assists, you can't score a goal most of the time. Some guys can individual effort the puck down the ice, but that's really hard. But like I said, Noah Clausen, this is a guy who can really dish the puck out. He has good hockey sense, so he's able to distribute that puck really well. And you know, whenever this guy's on the ice, you're going to want to make sure you have him covered, because he has a lot of options when it comes to his passing, and that's definitely the best part of his game there.
Let's move into the defensive side of things now. This team, one of the best defensive teams in the league so far this season, 15 goals against, which is third least given up so far in the league. Just talk about, what makes this Morden Thunder team so good in their defensive zone in terms of them not allowing many goals so far this year.
Well, when you look at the stat sheet, you see, there's a few of their defensemen that are willing to put up points, and have put up good points, but there's a lot of guys that defenders that haven't really put up too many points. But that just shows you how responsible they can be in their own end. A lot of these guys, they may not put up as many points as they would like to, but it's about what they do in the defensive zone. Being able to block shots. chip pucks, do the battles in the corners and stuff. And it's those little things that help. And this defense core is certainly capable of keeping pucks on the net, and that's why they've had so much success this year.
This is a team that's coming in pretty hot. 4 straight wins for them coming into this game here on Thursday. Just talk about from what you've seen in those 4 straight wins to why they've had so much success into being able to get in the W column night in and night out for 4 straight games.
You know what? And I think we already kind of mentioned, there's a key. I think there's a certain key in here that's helped their success, and we've already talked about it. And I think it's the depth. Honestly,
Mm.
this team has won because of how good their depth is. We see how many guys can put up points on this team. I'm just looking at their stats right here. Like we had mentioned before, these guys can put up points, and whether it's the guy on the first line or the guy on the fourth line, they can put up points, and it's really helpful for the team. And I think, the big reason why they've won 4 in a row is because of that depth.
Yeah, and as a coach, just going against that, you don't only have to prepare for the top 2 lines on the team, but the third and fourth line as well, who, like you said, all 4 of those lines look like they've been able to hurt teams so far this season. Let's talk about their goaltending. What you've seen from the goaltenders on paper in terms of what you're expecting out of them in this game on Thursday.
Well, yeah, the goaltending is arguably the most important position, and both these two goaltenders have both been very solid to start the year. It helps when they got good players in front of them, but you can't win games without goaltending. So these two goaltenders have done their part. They've made stops when they needed to, and they've been just as important as the offensive players and the defensive players that are in front of them.
What do you think that we should be expecting from this Morden Thunder's team, starting off with their power play? Talking about special teams, starting off with their power play, what we should expect when they do get the man advantage out there.
Yeah, this team has quite a few point getters, like we've been talking about. So it's going
Yeah.
to be pretty hard. They're going to have two. They're going to have 2, 3, even 4. Like just two really good units out there that can really move the puck well, and that's what I'm expecting. That's what you got to expect this week or this Thursday. They're going to be moving the puck well. They're going to be getting a lot of shots on net and generating just a lot of opportunities. And that's good. That's what to expect from this power play, because they got all these guys that can put up points. So it's going to be even more deadly when they're on the power play and they have that extra man out there being able to shoot pucks.
Yeah, and something that I feel like is going to be important as well, Seth. I feel like you'll probably agree with this. Is just the PK going up against highly skilled offensive team in the Mountain Mustangs, who we're going to have a chance to see what they'll do on the power play. But talking about Morden, what you expect from them against the Mountain Mustangs power play when Morden's on the penalty kill.
Yeah, Mountain debatably has some very good offensive guns themselves. So you got to expect a penalty kill that's not going to be giving their power play too much. They're going to be covering their man. They're going to be seeing that iconic box that most teams use when they're killing a penalty, and they're going to really be trying to take up as much space as they possibly can and be really aggressive too. I think an aggressive PK can really help against a very run and gun offensive team, because sometimes it can catch them off a little bit off guard with how aggressive they can be. So I think we're going to see a very reliable and yet aggressive PK from this Morden Thunder team.
Yeah, for sure, and it's going to be important in this game against, like we said, like you said, Mountain having a lot of highly skilled offensive players that could hurt you on when they get on the power play. But before we go to our first commercial break, one more thing before we move into talking about Mountain, just a player that you're excited to watch, a player that you think that the people at home watching the game on Thursday, I guess tonight, as this segment is airing, a player from Morden. I think you alluded to him in Coin Fair is the player that you're thinking is the guy that people should be keeping their eye on in that game.
Yeah, definitely. This guy, we talked about his goal scoring ability. We talked about his passing ability. And I think all these things are really gonna help this Thunder team really go for the win here. And really, if they do win, it's going to this guy's probably going to get a point. He's over a point per game. So he's over 2 point per game out right now. So this guy is definitely going to be one of the players to watch, and definitely for me, the player to watch in this game.
Well, there it is. That's player to watch for the Morden Thunder. There he is, leading goal scorer on the team, McCoy Fair. Going to be exciting to see what he's able to do against Mountain coming up in this game. That's being played tonight on ASTV Productions as of right now when the segment is airing. But Seth, we're going to go to our first commercial break in your segment, Seth's Inside Scoop. When we come back on Seth's Inside Scoop, Seth Rach is going to give his breakdown and preview of this Mountain Mustangs team who's coming in on the road to face Morden in this Thursday night matchup. You're watching Coffee with Graeme, this edition of Seth's Inside Scoop here on the show. Stick with us for more of Seth's Inside Scoop after this commercial break.
Why go solar? Solar is better than ever. Our revolutionary design and inverter equipment with the latest in solar panel technology for the ultimate in-home and business security. That's right, I said security. Grid security and security of your home are linked. Fortify your future today with a battery backup system. No maintenance, quiet running. Did you know in Manitoba, grid-connected, off-grid, and battery backup systems are 100% right off in the year you purchase for any company or farm? Do you want to back up your internet, keep your tills running, and the lights on? We can install a system that is right for you with battery backup fully capable of taking on all those essential loads and keeping you running. When you call our experts at Evolve Green, ask about getting your free energy audit today. Call or email today to find out what system works best for you. 1-866-5EVOLVE or support@evolvegreen.ca. Also, be sure to check out our website at www.evolvegreen.ca.
Welcome back to Seth's Inside Scoop here on Coffee with Graeme. To start off this segment tonight, Seth broke down the Morden Thunder, breaking down their offense, their defense, their goaltending, special teams, and their player to watch in that game. Now we're going to dive into the Mountain Mustangs, Seth. This team, a program that won the championship back in 2019-2020, the last time this league was playing games. Almost a completely different team. They got some returning players from that championship squad, but not many. But this team still having a very good season as they are currently 5-2 on the year. Start off by talking about that offense. We kind of alluded to it before in the show, but 41 goals for, tied second most in the league. They got two top 5 point producers in Tyler Vandeveld, who leads the league in points with 26 in 7 games, and Joel Vigier, who has 17 points in 7 games. But overall, along with those guys, what we should be expecting from this Mountain Mustangs offense against a very good Morden Thunder team defensively.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of speed. It's going to be interesting. I'm just thinking about like how they're going to battle. It's going to be interesting to watch the Thunder try to shut down a lot of these high octane offense players. But yeah, this team here, this Mountain Mustangs team, have a lot of guys that can put the puck in the back of the net. And you mentioned those two guys up in the top 5 there for points in the league. But it's good. It's got to be a team effort. You can't just see two guys put up points the whole game. It's got to be the whole team. And I think really in this game, it has to be that whole team that's going to put up offense, because we talked about the depth of the Thunder earlier, and in order to match that, I think your depth needs to show up big time. So I think it's got to be an all it's got to be a whole team performance. I guess we could say today, but it's not really. The game isn't really today. But yeah, I think everybody knows what I mean when I say that.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to, say what day it is sometimes when we're doing these pre-recorded recordings of the segment, right? But alluding to that point about the depth, like Morden, this is a team that has this Mountain Mustangs team has 12 different players with at least a goal this season. Talk about, throughout this lineup, how while this team has been able to produce offensively in terms of getting, depth from not only their goal scorers up front, but on the back end as well.
Yeah, it's sometimes teams will just pay attention to shutting down, the top goal getters. And I think this team has done a very good job at hiding some of their really talented players, and they've been able to produce offense because of that. And I think that's one of the main things with this team. It's like Morden, it's like the Thunder team. They got their whole team can put up points, whether it's the top getting guy like Tyler Vandeveld, or it's their defensive defenseman who can put a point here and there or do all the little things that matters. It's got to be the depth, and if they want to find success, they got to rely on that.
Yeah, and let's dive more into Tyler Vandeveld now, a guy that is putting up insane numbers so far, like 26 points in 7 games played. He leads the league in points, as well as Joel Vigier for this team having 17 points in 7 games played. Talk about these two guys specifically, how they've been able to be so dominant out there in terms of producing the points they have been producing so far this year.
Got to be their elite skill set, not only the speed, not only the shot, but it's like their skill sets. It's the little dipsy doodling moves they got in their repertoire that can really, really help. And I think it just, it'll confuse some defenders. All right. Like when guys come dancing through the middle with all the quick stick handles, their quick speed, it's tough for defenders to be able to read, and that's why these guys have had success. They're really skilled players that can put the puck in the back of the net, and they can do it in multiple different creative ways, and I think that's why they've both seen so much success this season.
Well, Seth, I personally love the Dipsy Doodle players. Just so fun to watch. Getting to watch these kids that are able to, Dipsy Doodle, like you said, making it hard for defenders if they, if these players have the speed as well for them to gauge, if they're going to burn them with speed or if they're going to try to put a move on them. These players also having elite skill sets in terms of, knowing when to expose the defender, looking at the stick position, if they're able to do a windmill deke underneath, if they're able to toe drag. Just going to be a lot of fun to see, what Tyler Vandeveld and, Joel Vigier are going to be able to do in this game. But looking at it, 23 goals against for this team, not on the level of Morden defensively, fourth most goals given up in the league so far this season. But just talk about this defensive side of things for the Mountain Mustangs, what you've seen from them on paper.
It certainly does. It is unfortunate that for that team that their goals against is pretty high up, but that's not to say their defense and goaltending isn't bad. Their defense has been very solid at times, being able to shut other teams down, and you know what? That's what you need. You need good defense, and of course, you're going to let up some goals. And I think for this game up against the Thunder, their defense really needs to stand tall and really try to emulate, not necessarily rip off, but like sort of emulate the Thunder, because we know how good their defense is. And in order to have success against this Thunder team, I think your defense needs to be as equal, and you need to have your offensive guns all running. So it's really got to be a whole cohesive unit together. Like all the defensemen and the forwards really need to be active together, and it's got to be the whole team, I gotta say.
Yeah, for sure, especially against a team that has a lot of offensive talent, a lot of depth in the Morden Thunder. Talking about Mountain's last game, they're coming off of a 6-2 win against the Pembina Valley, or against the Pembina Tigers. My apologies, against the Pembina Tigers, 6-2. What you think the Mustangs will be looking to build off of that game into this Thursday night game against Morden?
Yeah, they were able to beat that team down pretty good. I think they're going to try to carry over that success, try to bring over, what made them successful in that game. They're going to try to bring that over and use that in this game against the Hawks. Obviously not the Hawks, the Thunder. Sorry, I'm getting confused with the PV Hawks here, but yeah, they gotta really try to emulate how they played that game earlier against that other team, and use it against the Hawks, because they found a lot of success offensively. They were able to limit the other team to only 2 goals against. So, you really got to try to find that success that you had in that game and bring it over and apply that to this game, and really, bring the hammer down, use that confidence you had from that 6-2 win, and really try to really just hammer down and get the victory against the Hawks.
Let's talk about the goaltending now from the Mustangs. Talk about what you've seen from their stats, and what makes these goaltenders what they are for the Mountain Mustangs.
Yeah, both these goaltenders are really good. Sort of, kind of similar to how the Thunder's goaltending is, but this goaltending, they've done very well this season, and it's going to be hard for the Hawks to generate offense. These 2 goalies are very poised. They have all the attributes to be successful in this league, and I think in order for this team to come out on top tomorrow is they got to have their goaltending shining tall against this really high octane offense team in the Thunder.
Now let's dive into the special teams for the Mountain Mustangs. Starting off with this power play, I'd say that I'm guessing you're expecting to see a explosive man advantage unit, a power play unit from the Mountain Mustangs in this game against Morden.
Yeah, definitely. That's you worded it perfectly. It's gonna stem from those 2 big guns we talked about before. These guys can put up points, and if they can do a 5-on-5, they can certainly do it on 5-on-4 or 5-on-3. So their power play is definitely gonna be something the Thunder need to watch out for. Said Hawks again. There's my bad, but yeah, the Thunder's really gonna need to watch out, because if these guys get a power play, it's gonna be very hard to kill off.
Yeah, and I feel like the penalty kill is going to be just as important as the power play for this team in that game. Talk about the penalty kill. What's going to be the most important aspect for this Mountain Mustangs team if they do get down a man or 2 in this game.
Yeah, I think the number one thing if they get shorthanded in this game is they got to keep pucks to the outside, because we talked about how deep that Thunder team is, and they can certainly make you pay with all their weapons they got. So you really got to make sure pucks stay on the outside. Try to get to pucks first. Dump the puck as much as you can. You got to make those sacrifice plays. You got to be blocking shots in this game, or else it's going to be. This Thunder team can hop on you pretty quick because of their very lethal power play.
Now, I was looking over the games from Mountain this season, and not the game against the Pembina Tigers, but the game before that. They let up 7 goals in the first period, which is pretty amazing. Like, I don't think I've seen that ever when I've looked at any of these teams that we've covered here on your segment, Seth, or that we covered here on ASTV this season. Talk about what you feel that Mountain is going to need to do to not allow that to happen once again against a team like Morden that could be very capable of potentially doing that.
I think this whole team needs to buy into a system, and that includes, their higher offensive guys. They might need to play a little bit more defensively in this game, because 7 goals in the first period is definitely something you're not gonna be too proud of. So, yeah. And this Thunder team has a very deep team, so it's gonna be very hard. This team's gonna be very hard to go up against. So I think this Mustangs team really needs to play a defensive game. Make sure you're trying to shut down their players. That's the number one thing. Everyone has to be playing as best defensively as they can, or else this team is going to burn them.
Last thing here on this week's edition of your segment, Seth, here on Seth's Inside Scoop, just the player to watch from the Mountain Mustangs. I have a feeling I know what you're going to say for this one.
A lot of times you want to go with a guy that, or a player that's really under the radar. You don't want to always give it to the most offensive guy, but you got to give me a little bit of a break on this one, because you kind of have to give it to Tyler Van de Velde here, because this guy is a very good offensive player. We saw the 26 points in 7 games. That's absolutely unheard of if you ask me. So it's got to be him.
It's almost like he's a cheat code out there so far this season. It's like he's playing NHL 22 and everyone is just trying to keep up with him. Yeah, I don't think there's any shame with you going with a player like Tyler Vanderbilt because of the 26 points in 7 games. That's for sure. Seth Rach joining Coffee with Graeme on his segment Seth's Inside Scoop. Seth, going to be fun to watch the Zone 4 regular season matchup, the Zone 4 High School Hockey League matchup between 2 top teams in the league, the Morden Thunder at home against the Mountain Mustangs. Thanks for coming on and doing your segment once again here on Coffee with Graeme. Seth's Inside Scoop, man. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And Seth Rach joining Coffee with Graeme here once again on this Thursday edition of the show. Of course, we did that segment pre-recorded last night. Seth's Inside Scoop as Seth came on to break down the Morden Thunder and the Mountain Mustangs. Of course, that game happening right now on ASTV Productions. Of course, you guys can watch it anywhere you guys can find our broadcast that we broadcast here out of these games that are being broadcasted on the network this year. So enjoy the game, everybody. If you're planning to switch over and tune in to watch that, no harm in that, as it is probably going to be a very exciting game. Going to be a great game for sure between these 2 teams, 2 top teams in the Zone 4 High School Hockey League at this point in the season. We're going to throw it to a commercial break here. Coming up after the commercial break, I'm going to be joined by Cambree Martens, senior forward for the Pembina Valley Hawks in the MFHL on this week's edition of the Hawks Report, as she's going to talk about the past weekend of games that the team had against the Central Plains Capitals and the Yellowhead Chiefs, what this week of practice has been like for the team as well, and the other stuff that they've been doing this week so far, as well as talking about the upcoming weekend of games, most notably the only game that we talked about, as it is the first game that they'll be playing this weekend, coming up tomorrow night in Seven Oaks Arena against the Winnipeg Avros in some MFHL regular season action. That's coming up after this commercial break here on Coffee with Graeme on ASTV Productions. Stick with us for more after this commercial break.
Welcome to Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy, your world-class academic and hockey training facility created to maximize each student's athletic and academic potential. Blackjack Stewart Arena, home of the Buffalo, is inside the 46,000 square foot complex, as well as a curling rink and other facilities. The students have a unique combination of successful, well-rounded education at Pilot Mountain Collegiate Institute and the professional hockey training in an encouraging community. The years of experience of on-ice coaching propel our students to the next level, both mentally and physically, in a professional environment.
Joining me now on the Hawks Report is number 15 of the Pembina Valley Hawks, senior forward Cambree Martens. Cambree, got to start off by talking about the past weekend of games for the team. You guys played twice, lost to Central Plains on Saturday, and then a big bounce back win against Yellowhead on Sunday. Let's start off with that game against Central Plains, a game that you guys lost 3-0, and just talk about, what, in your opinion, led to this defeat for your team in that Saturday game.
Yeah, that was a tough game Saturday. We weren't ready from the start of the game. We came out flat as a team. We didn't have communication on the ice, so that was the first problem. We couldn't move the puck, weren't able to break out of our zone, which gave them lots of chances to score. And nobody had their legs moving, so we weren't forechecking, we weren't back-checking hard enough. We gave them too much room, so nobody came ready for that game on Saturday.
Yeah, and obviously that leading to a shutout win for Central Plains, 3-0 in that game. What was the message in the room after that game from just the coaches, Dana Bell and his coaching staff?
They told us, the coaches, that we need to show up to every game ready to play. We can't afford to take games off because we need the points to try and get higher up in the rankings. That whether that be we have a better off ice warm up or a better on ice warm up, but that everybody needs to come prepared to play for every game.
And obviously, that message resonated in that game against Yellowhead on Sunday with a big 6-2 win for you guys. Coming off of that loss, I talked to Abby after the game in a post-game interview, and she said that that loss against Central Plains motivated you guys, and the message from Dana was encouraging you guys to play a full 60 minutes. How did you feel like the team was able to come out and do just that, play a full 60 minutes to grab this win against Yellowhead on Sunday?
Yeah, that was a full turnaround from how we played Saturday versus how we played Sunday. Everybody brought their game Sunday. We had more energy in the room before and more energy on the bench. Just everybody was going and everything was working for us on Sunday. Everyone had their legs going, we had communication, we were cheering each other on the bench, which that's a really big thing for our team, is the keeping the morale and the energy up on the bench. That keeps everyone going on the ice as well.
Yeah, and as we were broadcasting that game, we were right behind you guys as you guys were right in front of us on the bench. We could hear the hooting and hollering after some big plays by the team, and that definitely a big boost of confidence for you guys, a big thing for you guys to allow you guys to have success, like you said, have that team morale up. But diving into the game, game was tied 2-2 after the first period. You guys went down 1-0 to start off this game, but then you guys ended up taking a 2-1 lead, scoring on a power play, but then gave up a goal shortly after the PK. Just talk about what it was like after that, and just keeping your heads high just after giving up a quick goal shortly after going up 2-1, just knowing that you guys were playing a good game and could continue the effort you guys were given later on in the game, as we saw.
Yeah, coaches for sure after that goal, like, it's okay. Their goals happen, but we can't quit now. We can't give up. We got to bounce back hard. The first shift after that goal, we had to come out harder, show them that we're here to win, that kind of thing.
Diving into the second period now, you guys got outshot by quite a bit in that period, but you guys were doing some really good things like getting the lanes and blocking shots and making it difficult at points for Yellowhead to get clean shots on that. Just talk about how huge that period was for you guys to, keep up that momentum, keep up that confidence of knowing you could play with this team close in a period like this.
Yeah, for sure. Even though we did get outshot, we capitalized on the chances that we had. When they gave us rushes and gave us room to skate and shoot the puck, we were making sure to capitalize on that so that we could come out on top in that game. Like you said, the blocking shots was huge and playing good defensively, because they did have more shots than us, but we were able to keep the puck out of our net.
The last time you guys played Yellowhead, you guys were tied heading into that third period, and then they pulled away. This time for you guys, it was the opposite of things. You guys ended up scoring 4 unanswered in that third period. Just talk about, what was the biggest difference in this third period this time compared to the last time when you guys played them, when you guys gave up 2 goals to lose 5-3 in that game.
Yeah, definitely. Again, the keeping the energy up. After the tough loss Saturday, we did not want another loss. We needed to come out of that past weekend with at least one win under our belts. So we kept the energy high because we'd played with Yellowhead before. We knew that we could come out on top if we kept our game up and kept playing hard.
And one thing that was huge for you guys was not only that energy, that momentum that you built from that, but as well as the speed and the forecheck as well. Just talk about how pleased the team was with the forecheck and the speed you guys were shown out there to, generate those chances in the third period.
Yeah, when we all have our feet moving, we have a very fast team, especially our forwards. Everybody's got quick feet, everybody's got power. So keeping that hard forecheck to force the other team to make bad passes or fumble the puck, that's huge for us, because that's where most of our opportunities in the offensive zone are going to come from, is from our hard forecheck.
And on the score sheet, the big guns stepped up huge. Of course, you had 2 assists. Abby had 3 goals, a hat trick, and an assist. Quinn, your guys' captain, McLaren, she had a goal and an assist as well. And the other big guns were stepping up as well. How huge was that to see these big guns for you guys step up in that game in the third period to get that one?
Yeah, having our grade 12s and a couple of the girls wearing letters stepping up and scoring, that's huge because it encourages everyone else to put the puck in the net, get pucks on net, and to get their own chances too. It's really big for us when the older girls and the girls with letters are scoring for sure.
And Tria Ends had a huge game in net, only allowing 2 goals, of course, coming in that first period. Just talk about how huge it was to see Tria step up and have that type of game against one of the top teams in the league in Yellowhead this past Sunday.
Yeah, Tria played awesome. She was on her game for sure. You could tell she's focused from when she gets to the rink in a game like that, and she really played her part because without her playing the way that she did, she faced a lot of shots, and so she really kept us in that game.
Obviously, a win like this against one of the top teams in the league, a team that you guys were close in a game with early on in the season, just couldn't finish it off. Finishing it off this time, beating a top team in the league, definitely going to give any team in the league, a lot of confidence moving forward. How much confidence exactly did this win give you guys moving forward, heading into this week of practice and just heading into the later parts of the season?
Yeah, that was really huge for us to beat one of the top teams because that showed us and showed our coaches and everyone that we can play with the top teams and we can beat the top teams in the league. So going into play the Avros and Westman and Yellowhead again the next times we play them, that'll be huge. And we can remember that, yes, when we play the way that we can beat these big teams.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that game coming up for you guys against the Avros tomorrow night later on in this edition of the Hawks Report. But talking about this week of practice now, moving into it, Abby said the mindset is in this week of practice is to keep working hard and keep doing what you guys are doing well. Just speak about how huge this mindset has been, how relevant it's been this week in practice, the two practices that you guys have had on Tuesday and yesterday on Wednesday.
Yeah, the keeping the work ethic and keeping the energy and the pace up at practice has been huge. We've been having fast practices with not a ton of time in between drills to keep everybody going, and that's made practices better. Everyone's working harder, we're getting more done in a practice. So that mindset has been huge.
And I know when I talked to Quinn last week on this segment, the Hawks Report, she said that last week you guys were working on power play, passing, and battle drills as well. Has that been the things you guys have been working on this week, or has it been a bit of a different mindset in terms of the things that you guys have been working on?
Well, we only had the one practice this week because yesterday the roads were bad, so we canceled just
Right.
everyone off the roads. But Tuesday we did a lot of passing. Passing was definitely the main focus, mostly stretch passing, making sure passes are on the tape and making sure we're calling for our passes. And then we finished off with some battle drills as well. So it was a similar mindset and similar plan for practice this week.
Yeah, and the roads haven't been too kind in rural Manitoba, in places like Morden, Winkler, and Morris. Just everywhere outside of Winnipeg. I know they were pretty bad last weekend, so it's good to know that you guys took safety over, having a practice because at the end of the day, it's just a game, right? But you guys had a home workout on Monday. Speak about what was done there, what you guys worked on in that home workout.
Yeah, for the home workouts that we do Monday, it was kind of full body focus. There was some upper body, some core, some lower body, a bit of cardio at the end. That covered a bit of everything. And then for yesterday, because we didn't have a practice, we could do a home workout of our choice. So for yesterday, everyone kind of did whatever they felt like doing for a workout.
Yeah, great to hear that you guys had a choice of what you guys wanted to do in that workout for sure. Great to know that seemed to go well. Talking about tonight, coming up later on, you guys are gonna have a virtual guest speaker coming in and talking to you guys. Speak about what's gonna be happening there.
Yeah, so we have, I think she's an ex hockey player coming to talk to us. These Zooms are really cool that we do as a team because we get to hear about other people who are experiencing the same high level sports that we're experiencing and
Right.
their journey through that. So that's going to be cool to get to hear someone else's story tonight.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool for sure. Is this the first time you guys have had a virtual speaker coming to talk to you guys this season?
We've had a nutritionist speak to us as well, like quite near the beginning of the
Right.
season. That was a while ago, but it is the second Zoom like this that we've had.
Right on it. It's cool. Yeah, like you said, that you guys are able to have these type of people come on that you guys can relate to as you guys playing at a high level, playing female AAA hockey here in the MFHL at that U18 age group level. Talking about this upcoming weekend now, you guys got two games. One tomorrow night against the Winnipeg Avros in Winnipeg, and one on Sunday on the road as well. But let's dive more into this Avros game. You guys going into their home rink, Seven Oaks Arena. They're 8-1-1 on the season, 37 goals for, 10 goals against. You guys played them last month on the 23rd for the first time in the regular season, lost 4-2 in that game. Just heading into this one, obviously been a long time since you guys have last played the Avros, but what's going to be the mindset heading into Seven Oaks playing one of the top teams in the league and one of the top offensive and defensive teams as well so far this year?
Well, the main thing that we need to remember is that even though they're a top team, they have a good record, they're a goal scoring team, that we can beat them and we can play with them. We did lose to them in the regular season game, but we played them in exhibition a while back and we did come out on top in that game. So, based on those things, if we show up and if we play a full 60 minutes and don't take any time off, then we can beat this team for sure.
Yeah, and you guys proved that anyone can beat anyone in this league. It's been proven not just in that game against Yellowhead, but the teams lower ranked to you guys being lower ranked than the Avros definitely could come out and beat them if you guys give that 110% effort, right? Just talking about the lineup this week for you guys. I know that you guys had a full lineup in both of the games last weekend. Is it going to be the same this weekend as well?
I'm not too sure actually. I think we're gonna have one for sure who's sick and possibly
Mm.
two girls who are sick. So we're gonna be playing a bit short, but we've kind of been doing that all season, so I
Right.
guess it's something we've gotten used to.
Right, for sure. Tough to not have a full lineup all the time, like you guys have had not a full lineup for the majority of the season. But like you said, you guys have been able to handle it so far, dealing with those issues. You guys are going to be on the road for a while here, coming up in the regular season. Next 5 games, starting tomorrow, are going to be on the road. Just speak about what the mindset is like playing on the road, whether rather than playing at home.
Playing on the road, the mental preparation is very important. When you're in the car, you got to be focusing, thinking about the game. Some people listen to the music that they need to listen to, but regardless of where we are, whether we've driven 30 minutes or driven 2 hours, everybody needs to show up at the rink prepared to play.
Well, let's see how you guys do tomorrow and in these upcoming road games. Not just the game tomorrow against the Avers, but on Sunday against the Interlake Lightning as well. Cambree Martens, number 15, senior forward of the Pembina Valley Hawks, joined me on the Hawks report for this week's edition of the segment. Cambree, best of luck to you and your teammates upcoming this weekend against the Winnipeg Avers and the Interlake Lightning, and hopefully you guys are going to be able to get in the win column once again this weekend.
Yeah, thank you, Graeme. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. You stay safe,
You
Cambree.
too. Take care.
And Cambree Martens joining the Hawks report this week on Coffee with Graeme. And the reason we had Cambree on the show this week, as you guys might have seen in the description, is I wasn't able to get any of their leadership group on the show this week, but that's okay. Cambree definitely looked as a leader on this team, even though she doesn't wear a letter. And yeah, unfortunate they weren't able to have a practice yesterday on Wednesday, but like I said in that interview with Cambree, better to be safe than sorry, of course, with just how crazy the roads have been in the past. In the past weekend for us here on ASTV Productions, they were so bad in rural Manitoba because of just how bad the road conditions were and the visuals as well. Just unable to see 100 yards in front of us on our attempt to drive out to Pilot Mountain this past weekend because of the snow. And then the next day on Sunday, we tried getting out on Sunday morning to Pilot Mountain to broadcast that game against the U15 male prep Buffaloes between the Prairie Hockey Academy U15 team. The fog was so bad, the visuals were even worse. We couldn't even see 20 yards past us. But yeah, hopefully everyone has been staying safe if you have been on the road in the past weekend/week. It's been pretty brutal from what I've heard, especially what Cambree told me. Them having to cancel practice, never a good sign, just indicating that the roads are as bad as they were. But yeah, that is the Hawks report for this edition of Coffee with Graeme. Of course, the Hawks report will be returning on the show for another edition of that segment next week on this Thursday night edition of Coffee with Graeme, as I will be having one of the Hawks leadership group players on the show to talk about the past weekend games, the week of practice that they had, as well as the upcoming weekend of games for the team as well, coming up next week on the show. We're going to take another commercial break here on Coffee with Graeme. Coming up after the break, I'm going to be joined by two players that have joined the show here before in Megan Beswitherick and Geneva Penner, two goaltenders for Assiniboine Community College, the Cougars women's hockey team, there to talk about how they've been enjoying the college lifestyle so far, what it's been like playing college games for the Assiniboine Community College Cougars, and some other stuff as well. That's coming up on Coffee with Graeme on ASTV Productions. Stick around for more after this commercial. Joining me now on Coffee with Graeme is number 1 and number 35 of the Assiniboine Community College Cougars, Megan Beswitherick and Geneva Penner. It's been a long time since I've talked to you both. How have things been going with the college lifestyle so far this year with you two?
They've been going pretty good. It's been an adjustment, but I think we're settled into our routine now. Geneva?
Yeah, for sure. I'm really enjoying it.
That's great to hear. Great to hear that you guys are enjoying the experience so far. How have you guys felt like you've been able to handle just the routine of the classes, handling practices as well so far?
For me personally, the first month was a bit tough to adjust to the new demand of school and practices, and because I was playing soccer and hockey, so it was a bit of an adjustment, but I feel like now I've settled into a good rhythm and I'm just really enjoying everything.
Yeah, definitely finding more ways to time manage with all the classes we're taking, along with practices and dry lands and stuff.
Yeah, that's great. Time management, probably one of the most important things, just keeping on top of classes as well, being able to play hockey. And for you as well, Megan, playing both hockey and soccer, how have you enjoyed the soccer aspect of things so far at ACC?
It was really fun. It was a very competitive league and just year of soccer. So it was just a lot of fun to experience the next level of soccer that I never really had that much experience with, but it was a lot of fun. But now we're started into futsal, so we'll see how that goes. I've never played that before, so.
Yeah, a new opportunity for you, a new experience for you. Should be interesting to see how that goes for yourself when you end up starting, that routine of playing some futsal. For you, Geneva, how have you felt that, it's been like getting to, bond with the team as well as you, Megan, so far, just bonding with this new group of girls?
Yeah, I honestly, we have a really good group of girls. I met a lot of new people, played with a couple girls already, like Megan. But I think that we're really clicking, and I'm excited to see what this season holds for us.
Yeah,
And
it's
then,
interesting. Sorry, it's super
Yeah, no
interesting getting to see all these girls come together because most of us played against each other in the league. So now we're all on the same team, and those rivalries are just all of a sudden gone, and we're all just a part of the Cougars team.
Yeah, and when I had you both on the show, both separately at the time, when I did interview you guys, when you guys were playing in the MFHL, I asked you guys about what you thought it would be like reuniting with each other. And now that you've reunited, playing on the same team once again, now at the college level, how cool has that experience been? Just getting to reunite with each other, playing for ACC.
It's awesome. Like, I have played spring hockey with a bunch of the girls too, and so just being on a team with them obviously is a lot different from playing against them. And I think that we're already all clicking super well, so I'm excited for the season. And
Yeah, and I feel like Geneva and I are even closer this year than we were playing Caps.
For sure.
We're in all the same classes too, so we see each other all the time.
Every day.
Yeah, right on. You guys haven't gotten sick of each other yet, I assume.
Not yet.
That's great to hear. Great to hear. Great to hear. Working with Tony Bertone, the head coach of this team, a coach that's had a lot of success with this program before this season. Just what's it been like getting to meet Tony and get to work with Tony so far in practices and him coaching you guys in games so far?
It's been really cool. Just one little thing that really what made me see like this is a really good coach. I'm gonna really enjoy playing for him was on our first practice. We had just done like a hard skating drill, and he saw that all of us were tired because it was the first practice back and nervous, and he just went into this speech about how he was excited to write a new chapter with us and just like make our own path and not worry about what the other teams like that we used to play for and stuff are doing or like what the old Cougars were. It's a new chapter for us. And I don't know, the speech was really good. And I don't get moved with speeches that much, but it was really good.
Yeah. Like I said in my other interview, the way that Tony talked about the program, and I could just tell that he was going to be a really good coach, and I'm really enjoying it this season so far. The way he coaches the team and like looks at us as more of a hockey team, but also like a family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's such a cool thing is like you guys are playing hockey, but he also treats it like you guys are a whole family as well. And I think that goes a long way into building such a great culture like he's built here, where you guys are playing now at Assiniboine Community College. Just talking about it, that first week of practices, how was that experience like? Early morning. I know that it's kind of a change from what you guys are used to practicing in the evening time, but just those morning practices, that routine of getting into a rhythm in practice, and how that's gone so far for you two.
Honestly, like the first week, it was a little tough. I was not used to it, obviously, but I really enjoy it now. Like I think that it just gives me a head start to the day, and then I feel like I've already accomplished so much by the time I'm going to my classes when normally I would have just been getting up. So honestly, like now that I'm in the routine, I really like it.
Yeah, it was like my first time ever having morning practices, so I was kind of not looking forward to it, but it's nice to like Geneva said, get that start to the day, and then you have the whole evening off to do your homework and studying and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Just like you guys said, a bit difficult at first getting used to it, but nice to know that you guys have been able to get adjusted and are enjoying the morning routine of going to practices, starting your day off by playing hockey. Yeah, let's dive into the team so far, the games that you guys have played. You guys have played 4 games so far, 2 exhibition, 2 regular seasons. What's the playing time been like? How have you guys split the time up between you two guys in terms of who's played in the game so far?
Well, we each played one exhibition game to start, and then when we played our 2 league games, it was against the same team. So I played the first and played the second one.
Yeah, so we've split all of our time evenly, and she's doing amazing. So like I'm very happy to be sharing the net with her. So
Yes, me too.
Great to hear. Great to hear. Talking about it, just that adjustment to playing at this level. Obviously, college hockey being a different animal than where you guys played before at AAA. How have you guys found like you've been able to handle just the level of play, the amount of shots, like the I guess the difficulty of shots you guys have faced so far?
yeah, I think we're lucky in the part that we have a really high caliber team to practice with. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to games, we're used to those shots from our teammates already. So it's pretty easy to adjust in that way.
Yeah, for sure. And we practiced a while before we started playing, so getting back into it after the pandemic, like not being on the ice and all, was really nice. And we also have a very defensive team, I think. Like we have strong defense, so that's nice too.
Yeah, and this team, Tony's talked about it, how it's he feels very confident in this group of girls. Just speak about, what you guys have seen from the defense, more into depth into that, as well as the forward group that this team has this year out in front of you guys.
Well, I know I personally feel very comfortable when I'm in net and I see the team in front of me. I don't feel threatened by the other team because I trust my team to everybody do their job on the ice.
Yeah, for sure. I think that, like I was saying before, the defensive side of the game, I think that we like focus on that nicely and have strong defense, which is good. And like I feel confident already clicking with the players as far as like playing the puck and stuff, which is nice. We clicked early on with that, and just moving in general. Everything on the ice is looking good to me.
Talking more about bonding so far. You guys had a chance to go on a road trip coming down to Winnipeg to play against Balmoral Hall in that second exhibition game. What was that road trip like with the team, getting to experience the first road trip with them of the year?
So fun. I love road trips, which is why I'm so excited for this year because we're taking a couple of really long road trips. So I'm looking forward to that. I personally think that I like preparing for a game, going into it on a road trip is just my favorite way to play. And so just like having the time to hang out with the girls and then focus and then being at the rink all together at the same time, I just think it makes the atmosphere so much better.
Yeah. And yeah, it wasn't anything crazy the first road trip.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see what those 18-hour trips are going to be like.
Yeah.
Yeah, those would be interesting for sure. 18-hour road trips, get a lot of team bonding in for sure right there. Let's speak about your captain, Simone Turner coming. Just how it's been being able to experience being in the same dressing room with her, playing games with her so far.
Well, you can just tell that she has a lot of experience in this league just by the way she holds herself on the ice. She just has this like very calming presence that you just can tell like all like the rookies don't quite have that yet, but like she's just a figure out there that we all look to, and like she knows everything about the league and everything about all the teams, so she's just brings the experience into our team where we really need it because we're a very young team.
Yeah. And especially with no one really, or we didn't play at least last year, so a lot of the second years didn't have the opportunity to experience the league for themselves and stuff. So having Simone know the ins and outs is really nice.
Yeah, for sure. A girl that has been with this program for quite a while now, had a chance to win a national championship as well. What better player to learn from than a player like that, right? To have that type of leadership on the team this season. I'll ask you guys both in the interviews I've had you on before about, how you felt the MFHL, the play there would help you guys transition into the league. Now that you guys have played 2 games each, even though it's a short sample size, how have you felt that what you learned, what you experienced in the MFHL has helped you guys so far in your adjustment to playing at the college level?
I think that the importance of like having a good goalie coach in the MFHL has really prepared us for the next level. And their entire goal with all of the coaches, entire goal for I think both of our teams was to get us to the next level, prepare us for the next level. My coaches always said they never want to be a player's last coach. So that's just a testament to like them preparing us for the next level.
Yeah, I totally agree. And also playing in that league had also just prepared us like just being a good teammate all around on and off the ice, which is very important, obviously, at this level too.
Yeah, for sure. Great to know that you guys were able to take those experiences from the MFHL and that they're helping you guys out so far here early on in the season. I also asked you guys both in the interviews last time I had you guys on here, the show here, just talking about what you guys were most excited about with that, about the college lifestyle, what you were most looking forward to. Now that you've had a chance to experience the college lifestyle so far this year, what's been your favorite part at this point after experiencing the time you guys have had so far about the college lifestyle?
Honestly, I just love it all. Like between being so close with this group of girls, like even I live with Emily and Jensen, like two of our teammates.
Yeah.
And like just even like studying after class or being in classes with each other, going to practices together, like just all the time together, having that connection and like just the experience in general is just awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool to see my teammates not only in the hockey atmosphere but also how they are in the social atmosphere and in the school atmosphere, because I've never personally been on a team with girls that I've went to school with.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how they are there, but it's been really cool to see it all play out and just see everybody's how they react in other situations and just get to know everyone.
Yeah.
Talk about just the competitive aspect so far, going out there and competing against these teams that you guys have had a chance to play so far, how you guys have liked the competitive aspect so far of playing hockey at this D2 university level.
The competitiveness is probably my favorite part.
Mm-hmm.
I love playing in that atmosphere where it's fast, it's loud, hard shots, and it's just so much fun to play in, and you know that the crowd's having a good time when they get to the loudness that they have been. So
Yeah, for sure. And like Tony always, like going into the game, he always says like we're here to play, and like Megan said, the stands just makes it that much better. There was a lot of fans at our game, which I was super happy about. And last year, or in playing for Eastman, you know everyone you're playing against, and like you know what the atmosphere is going to be like. But playing here, I don't know a lot of these girls, and so playing new teams, new fans, new arenas, just new everything is super fun.
Yeah, and something you guys didn't have a chance to really play with last year was those big crowds because of obviously the pandemic. Getting to play with that this year so far in these games, how cool has that experience been of having that, college crowd atmosphere?
Yeah, it was just kind of mind blowing because the first game we weren't really expecting much, because I don't really know if anybody really invited that many people. But then when we like went out onto the ice to play, the stands were full, and I was just kind of like mind blown because like our classmates were there and they would have seen it through like hearing it in school or seeing it on our school website, and that just was really cool to see.
Yeah, for sure. Like you see it and you hear about it, but actually being on the ice and having the fans there, like from school, and not only from your families, but having your friends and your classmates and everything, just it's a cool experience.
Yeah, I bet. And just so cool for you guys being able to, have fans back this year, especially in your first year playing college hockey. Let's get into just what that game day routine has been like, how it's different from, the routines you've had in the past of getting ready to play out there.
Well, for starters, we've had less time than normal years. So, like, we are only allowed in the rink an hour ahead, which is even a bit of a stretch for the rinks. They did that specifically so that we could have that time to prepare. But so I personally don't really have time to like do a lot of ball work before or anything. I do a little bit, but not a lot, and then warm up and then go straight to getting dressed. But
yeah, it's definitely an adjustment because, I mean, we would go 2 hours early to the rink, like get there and take our time, mentally prepare, and do all of these things that now we have to kind of readjust to and refigure out how to prepare ourselves for games. So I think that I'm still kind of working on what I do there before games, but it's going good so far.
Yeah, it's good to hear that it's going good. And yeah, it's definitely going to be an adjustment. A lot of things for you guys being an adjustment this year with this just being a whole new opportunity, a whole new experience for you guys playing college hockey. Talking about the upcoming games on the schedule, no games until December 4th and 5th from what I've seen. Both games will be on the road against North Dakota State University. Talking about that, how you guys are going to handle the time in between to getting prepared for that game, for those games, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's our first, I think it's only still a 2-hour drive.
Well, I think it's probably more than that. 4 hours.
Oh, 4 hours. Okay. Well, anyways, so that's a road trip. So obviously have some time on the bus there to mentally prepare, and then getting there. I'm excited. I don't know who the girls are. I don't know anyone that plays there. So I'm excited to see what it's going to be like crossing the border and getting to play away games in the States there.
Yeah, and it's definitely going to be an adjustment for our mental preparation as well, because we're in just completely new territory there, and we're just we have to do all our passports, our bags, and there's a lot of other things that we have to be worrying about other than our equipment and getting ready.
Yeah, well, it's going to be an exciting experience for you guys to go out on the road. This time a bit longer than going to Winnipeg, going down to North Dakota State, their home arena to play them. Megan and Geneva, always nice talking to you both. Thanks for taking the time and joining the show here. Best of luck in the upcoming games for you guys on December 4th and 5th, and just in the other parts of the season. Maybe sometime in the future on the show. In the season, we'll talk soon. But until then, you guys stay safe and continue to enjoy the college lifestyle and playing Cougars hockey at ACC.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Megan Beswitherick and Geneva Penner, two goaltenders for the Assiniboine Community College Cougars women's hockey team, joining the show here on this Thursday edition of Coffee with Graeme. And great to reunite with them, to have them back on the show, to let you guys know it's been in the works for a while to have them on the show. It just hasn't worked out with their schedules for them to come on, with how busy they are with, university classes at ACC, as well as just their hockey schedule, and them also having jobs too. Their work schedule has been pretty busy from what Geneva has told me for her specifically. And I guess not university classes, college classes. Meant to say that, just said university classes instead. But yeah, great to have them on the show. Great to know that they're enjoying their time in ACC so far. And yeah, want to wish them once again the best of luck to them coming up in the latter half of their schedule and the upcoming games for them coming up this year for the Assiniboine Community College Cougars. So we're going to take one more commercial break here on the show. Coming up after the break, some final words here on this edition of Coffee with Graeme on this Thursday evening here on ASTV Productions. Stick around for more after this commercial. Welcome back to Coffee with Graeme, everybody. Of course, this is going to mark the end of tonight's episode. But before I do that, I just want to give a special thanks to Seth Rach for coming on the show once again for this Thursday edition of the show, even though we did the interview on Wednesday, doing his segment, Seth's Inside Scoop, breaking down the two teams that are in action tonight on the network in the Morden Thunder and the Mountain Mustangs in the Zone 4 High School Hockey League. Also, a special thanks to Cambree Martens for filling in on the Hawks report this weekend, talking about the past weekend of games, the week of practice that the team had, as well as some other things that they've done this week, and talking about the upcoming weekend, most notably the game that we talked about against the Winnipeg Avros tomorrow night, as the Hawks will be on the road here in Winnipeg to face off against the Avros at Seven Oaks Arena, and as well as a special thanks to Geneva Penner and Megan Beswitherick, two freshman goaltenders for the Assiniboine Community College Cougars women's hockey team, for coming on and talking about, the college lifestyle, what it's like so far, as well as what it's been like playing games for the ACC Cougars so far, and some other things as well. Also, a special thanks to you, the viewer, for taking the time out of your Thursday night, or anytime you guys watch this episode. Thank you for taking the time and watching this edition of Coffee with Graeme, as well as a special thanks to our sponsors of Coffee with Graeme in Evolve Green, AETI, Toby Hockey, Case Financial Group, and our good friends over at Pilot Mound Hockey Academy. As for when Coffee with Graeme will be airing next, we'll be returning here on the network. Well, I'll be returning here on the network next Tuesday, coming up next week at 10 a.m. Central Time, here live on Facebook at ASTV Productions, on our website at astvproductions.com, as well as on our Twitter at Amateur Sports TV. Going to be a lot of fun. Going to have a lot of good guests joining that show. I'm sure. Haven't finalized the guest list yet, but if you guys are figuring or wanting to know who the guests in that episode will be, stay tuned on our social media pages, on our Instagram at ASTV Productions, as well as on our Facebook and Twitter, to find out who those guests will be. We'll be releasing the full guest list coming up either Monday morning, Monday afternoon, or Monday night. Not too sure yet. It just really depends on when we finalize who will be coming on that edition of the show next week on Tuesday here on ASTV Productions. But until then, folks, I've been your host, Graeme Forsyth of Coffee with Graeme, signing off now until I see you next week on Tuesday. Folks, have a wonderful rest of your Thursday night. Have a wonderful Friday as well tomorrow. The weekend is getting closer already. I can feel it can be a good one, as well as have a wonderful weekend as well. And as well, stay safe out there. If you are planning to go out and drive, make sure the roads are safe, because it's not worth it to risk it doing whatever you guys are wanting to do if the roads aren't safe. I think safety is, like I always preach here, the most important thing, right? So stay safe out there. Have a wonderful rest of your Thursday. Have a wonderful weekend as well, everybody. And until next week on Tuesday, I'll see you then. Peace out, everybody.